Insanity in Indy. Everybody, Walty Wanderers, buckle up, strap in. We got a hard-hitting pull, no punches, no sugarcoating it, no rainbows or sunshine. I'm just going to give it to you and give it to you straight. We got a good one to unpackage today. Welcome to the show. I hope everybody's doing great. So, insanity in Indy. Let's jump back on the Moto merry-go-round and examine the good, the bad, and maybe even a little bit of the ugly.
No, Walty, not the ugly. Only examine rainbows and sunshine.
No. Somebody's got to read between the lines and look between the ruts. And we had some massive ruts develop in Indy, taking fools out left and right. I think the one thing I was surprised about this race was no red flags. I was a little worried when I saw Savatgy do a massive cartwheel and he was down in the infield of the track. I don't know about you guys, leave it in the comments below. Did you think the red flag was coming out? I totally thought it was. But, you know, this was a great race for some, a disaster for others. Let's start with the 450. Of course, Cooper Webb had an easy night of it, got out front, executed his start, checked out, did great. Chase Sexton, though, unfortunately, had another horrendous race, and even though he tried to put a smile on his face on the podium, because his sponsors rely on that, you can tell it's not all rainbows and sunshine over at KTM. I think the dude's going to blame the bike. I think behind closed doors, rather, Chase Sexton is blaming the bike. I don't think he's happy with that bike. I mean, the reality is this. I'm not sure what bike. It doesn't matter what bike Chase is on. I think he's going to have a lot of the issues that he's having now, but there could be some bike issues. He just might not be gelling, because even back when he is having those types of issues at HRC Honda, it wasn't as frequent. I mean, this is every single weekend in a row now. And Kickstart Kenny, you know, we are all starting to get hyped up. It was funny because, you know, everybody's talking about Kickstart Kenny now after his win in Daytona, which was awesome. And actually, if it wasn't for Tampa, I think he would have had the points lead and right in the thick of it. But this was a disastrous race for him. But one of the things that came to mind for me during the race, as I heard the commentators talk about, and we got to talk about the commentators too, of course, because there's a lot to talk about, but you know, it's almost to the point where we've forgotten. Nobody mentions the fact that Kenny came back from almost losing his arm. So the fact that he's out there at all, and again, took the Kickstart Suzuki for a payday. I mean, we all got to give credit where credit's due. He clearly can win on the bike if all the planets seem to align, but he was unable to move up through the pack. And everybody was saying this is Kenny's house, basically, at Indy. He had the most wins, 50% of his races there. He has won, but unfortunately, he went down the first turn and got caught up with Ando, and it was pretty much curtains for Kickstart. So now the points gap is pretty bad. He'll need a lot of help. He's going to need Cooper to have a get-off. And, you know, that's the other thing. You know, Chase seems to think that, you know, late in the season is when he usually does his best work. Well, he's going to need to, and he's going to need to dispatch Cooper Webb to, he's going to have to start beating him every single weekend in order to close this gap. And Cooper has not finished worse than second all year. So it could happen, but I just think that Cooper's now made Chase his new Kenny in terms of in his head. And so, yeah, it should be interesting. But yeah, the commentating was interesting because did you notice it was just Ricky and Lee in the booth? There was no Weege, and Weege got relegated to race day live. And you could tell Weege, even though Weege is a professional, he's going to do his job and he's going to go where the money is. If he can get a payday, he'll do it. But I love Weege in the booth over Lee and Ricky, and nothing against them. I mean, I guess, I'm trying to be cool about it, but you know, I think I saw on Race Day Live, or, you know, there was a bunch of, when they were broadcasting, all the fans were in the back, and there was this quick clip of something like Bring Daniel Back. Some dude had a shirt on, and it was quickly like, just that guy got exited super quick. And you could even tell when they interviewed Lee and Ricky, I think during Race Day Live, that they were a little bit of a deer in the headlights. Like they knew, like they've seen you guys talking. They hear what everybody's saying. And you can tell they're trying their best to brush it off. But it was hard for them when they first got on camera and race day live. Like, I just got the sense that they knew, like, all right, here we go. Let's do this. I'm sure they've had talks. I'm sure Ricky and Lee have talked before the race about this whole situation. And they're probably pretty bummed at Daniel for doing what he did. But Daniel had every right to do it. And he felt like he owed it to himself, probably first, and then the fans second, or vice versa. It doesn't really matter. He did what he did. And it gave us a lot to talk about.
You're welcome, Walty. I see your Blair Blast Ricky video got 27,000 views.
And it's always what I've talked about. You know, the industry is kind of swamp infested, and this is the kind of behavior that I allude to when I say that. Now, with that being said, you know, we had Justin Cooper get a second place, gifted from Chase pretty much. I mean, Chase went down and it pretty much gave it to him. I don't know if Chase would have been able to catch Cooper. I was hoping, though, that's what we were going to see. Unfortunately, didn't ever materialize, and that was pretty much it. Justin Barsha takes out the Cowboy. Cowboy was cool about it. Justin clearly felt bad, but he was like, you know, hey, what, you know, he was bummed. He wanted that podium, and you know, that I thought it was pretty clean. I think, like even AP said, I needed to know better. I should have stayed up higher, and that was clearly the case. So that's what's up. Now, the 250 class is Danger Boy Deegs.
Full send, baby.
Again, he seemed a little bit stoic every time he was getting interviewed prior to the main event. He wasn't smiling. He was all business, right? And you know, in the main event, he got his podium. He got a bigger points lead over Beaumer, who had a horrible race. And then for Max Anstey, he lost the points lead by 1 point to Frenchie. Frenchie hasn't had a win yet, but now he has the red plate. This could be disaster for poor Max because now he's going backwards. So I'm really excited because I'm actually cheering, of course, for Max. But what we've been seeing lately, and I know he had a big crash during press, so, you know, we'll see how he can rebound from that. But, you know, Chance Hymas, big cartwheel at the end, off the pace. Honda's just having a rough go of it. You know, Smokin' Joe looked decent, but again, he's not winning races or a threat to do so. Both their 450 riders gone. You know, they're doing Fan Fest now. And then, of course, we had Jet Lawrence call the 250 showdown, which was cool, I guess, on one hand, but clearly, I mean, he was pretty hard on himself, saying, I think I didn't do that good. And Ricky, of course, oh, you were great, you know, and oh my God. So, you know, actually Jet did probably better than a lot of riders that have been invited to do what, you know, a guest appearance for their first time. I've seen some pretty disastrous ones. Chad Reed, Kevin Windham, both kind of got screen tested and were able to come up, and it never materialized into anything regular. So yeah, I mean, that's pretty much what's going on, what I'm seeing out of Indianapolis. And final thoughts, I come to you as a friend, as a content creator, as a moto guy that wants to see you not only win on the track, off the track. Understand the waters you're swimming in now, they're shark infested. Indy, welcome to the swimming pool. It was a little bit of a boring race, other than the track was almost too tricky. A lot of drama, a lot of crashes. It was good, other than the fact that in the 450s, Webb checked out. If you're a Webb fan and you had money on him, you're stoked, no problem for you there. For me, I wanted to see, of course, a battle for the win. It never quite happened, but there was a lot of action, and it was still one of the better races of the season. Actually, let me recount that. It probably wasn't one of the better races of the season, but a good race nonetheless. In the meantime, Walty will be here to blow the lid off it every step of the way, because it's not only what we need, it's in fact what we deserve. I appreciate the content. I want to humbly ask you to give the video a like, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment below. I'd love to hear from you. Social media links in the description of this video if you'd like to follow me there, along with links to channels I've appeared on I think you might enjoy. If you enjoyed this video, gonna love the next video, and there's an easy subscribe icon for your convenience. As always, thank you for your time. Don't go over the bars. God bless, and I'll see you on the next video.